E.N.D here. Ever wondered what bending is and why it's considered as one of the most complicated mechanics in Magic the Gathering history? It's so complicated that bending is one of the very few mechanics that have a score of 10 on the Storm scale, which means that unless a major miracle happens, this mechanic will never come back, and I would also risk saying that cards with bending can be easily compared to the reserve list cards, as they will never be reprinted. A small note here, some bending cards are already in the reserve list. If you want to read more about the Storm scale, I leave some links in the description below. Let's revisit this very old mechanic which was featured on the very first cards ever printed in Magic the Gathering, that is Alpha till Weatherlight, the last expansion set and 5th edition, the last set to feature a creature with bending. Bending is a keyword ability with different effects depending on whether the creature is attacking or blocking. Any creatures with bending and up to one without can attack or defend in a bend. Bends are blocked or block as a group. If any creature with bending you control are blocking or being blocked by a creature, you defeat that creature combat damage, not its controller. Yes, you defeat not its controller among any of the creatures it's being blocked or is blocking. It's an alternative in distributing damage or another way of preventing damage by having it go to another creature. While acknowledging that bending was flavorful and effective if used properly, it has been abandoned by Wizards of the Coast for being too confusing. But how do you play bending? Let's build our battlefield and cast a creature with bending. And I'm going to cast Sheldon Knight, a rare card from Ice Age with bending. When you cast a creature with bending, it's a normal creature, therefore it goes on this deck. There can be a counter, there can be a response, nothing happens, it hits the battlefield. It's my turn again and I'm going to attack. Because I don't control another creature, when I will attack with Sheldon Knight, bending doesn't kick in because, as I said, I don't control another creature. Therefore, if I swing with Sheldon Knight, there is no bending involved and I will do 1 damage if not blocked to my opponent. But if I controlled another creature, and let's say I had a human token here, I want 1 human token, and I'm going to swing together, bending will kick in and these 2 creatures will be attacking in a bend. And if my opponent doesn't block, I will do 2 damage to my opponent. If my opponent would block my bend, and let's say my opponent controlled a Nimble, Blade Camera, a 1/3 creature from Cardmarket, and let's say my opponent will block my bend, I will decide how damage is distributed, and therefore I will decide that the 1 damage from the Nimble Blade Camera will be put on the human token instead of Sheldon Knight. Another important scenario when you are attacking in a bend is when you are attacking with a creature that does not have flying and a creature with flying. So let's remove here and let's put in play Resplendent Marshal, a creature with flying. And I'm going to swing with both creatures and they will be in a bend. Because my bend has 1 creature with flying and 1 creature without flying, they don't share any abilities. Therefore, if my opponent will, let's say, block again with Nimble Blade Camera, he can do so. Why? Because he cannot block the flying creature, but he can block Sheldon Knight. Therefore, he can block this bend. But, as I said previously, I will decide how combat damage will be distributed, not my opponent. Therefore, the 1 damage from the camera will be put on Resplendent Marshal, and the 4 damage of my bend will be going on the camera. Therefore, camera will die and my bend will survive. So these were some scenarios regarding attacking in a bend. Now some scenarios regarding defending in a bend, and here where bending really works efficiently. Let's say that my opponent controls a Darksteel Colossus, an 11/11 with trample and indestructible. If my opponent will swing with Darksteel Colossus and I will block with Sheldon Knight, hello, let's say I'm going to block with Sheldon Knight. Sheldon Knight is not in a bend, therefore damage will be distributed as normal. Therefore 1 damage on Sheldon Knight and the rest will trample to me. But if I controlled another creature, and let's say we had another human token, If I block with the two creatures in bend, now Children of Night will be bending the human token. What will happen is this: I will decide how the 11 damage of Darkseid's Colossus will be distributed. Therefore, I will decide that the 11 damage of Darkseid's Colossus will go on the 1/1 human token. Yes, all damage will go on the 1/1 human token. The 1/1 human token will die, and I will not get any damage from Trample. Another scenario where you are defending, let's say that Darkseid Colossus was enchanted and had flying. Therefore, he's going to swing with 11/11 and has flying. I cannot block with Children of Night because Children of Night does not have flying. But if I had Resplendent Marshal on the battlefield, I can block with Resplendent Marshal and Children of Night together as a band. And same thing, I will decide the 11 damage to go on the Marshal or on the Knight. In this case, I will choose the Marshal. The Marshal will die, and I will not get any damage. Some notes: all creatures in an attacking band must attack the same player or planeswalker. Therefore, if I am attacking in a band, the two creatures need to attack the same player or the same planeswalker. Bending doesn't cause attacking or defending creatures to share abilities, nor does it remove any abilities. The attacking or defending creatures in a band are separate permanents. If an attacking creature becomes blocked by a creature, each other creature in the same band as the attacking creature becomes blocked by the same blocking creature. And last, you can respond to any of the bending creatures before the damage step. So this is how you play bending, a very old mechanic. I must admit it's quite confusing, but I hope that this tutorial has made it a little bit more simpler for you. Here, the subscription button, subscribe for my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.